speaker for today. Bob Blakley is the Global Head of Information Security Innovation at Citi, and Bob is a seasoned speaker at Rethink Cyber events around the world. And following his last talk in Rethink Cyber Tel Aviv, which was entitled Cybersecurity Grand Strategy, and we definitely recommend you to go ahead online and look it up. We are truly looking forward to your new talk today. Bob will be sharing his thought on the evolving topic of quantum computing and encryption and what it means for cybersecurity. Please welcome Bob to the stage.
Thanks, Laurent. Raise your hand if you can hear me in the back. So one of the great things about being in IT generally is that every once in a while we all get to be the hero in a summer blockbuster catastrophe movie. Raise your hand if you attended an end-of-the-world party on New Year's Eve 1999 because of Y2K. Good. I was hoping everybody went to those parties. It took me years to drink all the champagne that we were, holding in case it really happened. So, so why was that party so boring? Anybody know why that party was so boring? Because we, as an industry, we had been quietly working on the problem for about 15 years by the time the party occurred. So the good news and the bad news is that the next movie is starting now, and the asteroid this time that's going to destroy the Earth is a quantum computer. Now, of course, there are lots of really good things that you can do with quantum computers, but I don't care about that. I'm a security guy, and I'm all about the bad news. So one of the things that you can do with quantum computers is you can factor large numbers, and you can solve other kinds of problems like discrete log, which underlie public key cryptography. And of course, the risk that this poses is we have all sorts of secrets that we have out there in the internet. We have the identity information that we just talked about. We have medical records. We have financial records, all sorts of things. And if all of those secrets were suddenly to be released into the wild, it wouldn't exactly be the end of the world in the sense of the asteroid, but it would still be a pretty bad day. This is a picture of a Russian icon. It depicts the apocalypse. A lot of people think that the apocalypse means the end of the world. It doesn't mean that in the original Greek and in the original religious scripture. It just means the day on which all of the secrets are revealed, the revelation, literally, of everything. So even if it isn't the end of the world, the apocalypse is pretty bad, and so it would be better if we could avoid it. And so, in order to avoid the apocalypse of all of our secrets being revealed, we have invented all sorts of mechanisms for safeguarding secrets, including cryptographic mechanisms. However, one of the attributes of cryptography is that it often creates unpleasant surprises. So most cryptosystems are broken while they are still in use, and you can ask the German military or the Japanese military or a whole bunch of other organizations that used cryptography and suffered an unexpected event about that problem. So when one of these unexpected things happens, it's hard to plan for it. Nassim Nicholas Taleb calls it a black swan, an event that you can't really estimate the probability of. So, of course, since this is a black swan, what I'm going to try to do today is estimate the probability of this event. So in this particular case, the event is the invention of a quantum computer. This, of course, is Schrodinger's cat, which is simultaneously dead and alive for a while until it becomes one or the other. And as I've already mentioned, quantum computers have the characteristic that they can break the algorithms that are used for public key cryptography today. And that, by break, I don't mean weaken them a little bit. I mean problems that today take 1,000 years or 10,000 years or 100,000 years to solve become solvable in an afternoon or in an hour on a laptop, or a quantum laptop. So if this happens, I know some of the people whose names are represented by these letters, it's nothing personal. But RSA, Diffie-Hellman, the distributed signature algorithm, ECDSA, elliptic curve, all of these things go to fundamentally zero strength immediately, and that's bad. It's bad because communication security like TLS, signatures like the signatures on the code that it distributes the patches to your enterprise, and all sorts of other things are protected by these algorithms. Okay, so like, what is, is this a bad problem? Well, it kind of depends. In a good case, the amount of time it takes for the invention of a quantum computer, the time to collapse, is long enough that we have time to migrate and there is still enough security shelf life left. And what security shelf life means is something that you encrypt today needs to remain secret for a year, or it needs to remain secret for 10 years. So you want to make sure there's still shelf life left. A bad case is that, these are actually flipped. So the migration time takes a while, and then the remaining shelf life, well, things that are encrypted the day before you do the migration still need to be secret on the day the collapse occurs. That's a bad case. The really bad case is that we have no migration time, that the collapse is going to occur, and things that we are already encrypting today are vulnerable when the collapse occurs. That would be the really bad case. So this slide doesn't have any numbers on it, but you probably care about the numbers, right? How long do we have? What is the time to collapse, and what are the migration times? And because that's what defines our safety margin. The migration time and the security shelf life and time to collapse define whether we're safe or not. Well, a gentleman named Michele Mosca from the University of Waterloo has made a probability estimate. His estimate is that there is a 1 in 7 chance that we will have a quantum computer capable of breaking RSA 2048 by the year 2026. That's 10 years from now. And a 1 in 2 chance, a half chance, that such a computer will exist by 2031, which is 15 years from now. So if our migration interval is 3 years, that means that we had better be done migrating long enough before 2023 that we still have some time left for our secrets to remain safe. If the migration interval is 10 years, and by the way, the migration interval is how long does it take us to develop new quantum algorithms, to test them to make sure they're secure, to standardize them, to implement them in toolkits, to deploy them into the infrastructure, and importantly, to get rid of the old stuff, which is no longer going to be good. So if the migration interval is 10 years, then we're starting to be in the worst case like tomorrow. My conclusion from this is it would be a good idea to start planning to divert this asteroid pretty soon. Who agrees with me? The NSA agrees with me. The time is now right, given advances in quantum computing. NIST agrees with me too. They're actually working on selecting new quantum algorithms. How many of you agree with me that today would be a good time to start? Okay, the rest of you are way too serene. So what if we make the wrong bet, right? What if a quantum computer is never invented? That's possible. There are people who think that it won't happen. Well, the other bad news is we don't care. You can have a problem even if a quantum computer isn't invented, because RSA and Diffie-Hellman and elliptic curve cryptography are not based on mathematical problems that are known to be hard. So some smart mathematician could at any time come up with a clever way to factor large numbers, for example, and break RSA without a quantum computer. As Sherlock Holmes told us, what the mind of one man can invent, another can discover, and that is, in a nutshell, the history of cryptography. So thanks very much to our hosts at Innovation Endeavors and Nasdaq, and to my company's partners at Team8. I'll give you the clicker back.